So, welcome back to a little update video, little teaser what we will talk today. We will look at SPY. We will look, is BYND now really gap filling, or do we still have a chance to go up? What is Trump Media, DJT, doing? Is FFAI now really standing in front of a squeeze? Was that the top for Highcraft mining? And what was that move Bad Buff and BYYND did yesterday? And then we will take a small look at GNS, Neo, and FCEL. If you're interested, just stay tuned. So, as always, I'm using this method here. I will put the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the Fractal method playlist on my channel. So, let's start with the SP500. Just a little correction. I updated some stuff because in the past I was showing that this normally was our A, but after I looked at it again, we are still missing a higher low. So if this is our C, we got our broadening wedge, and I would put here this little higher low would be the higher low for this whole thing. That's not really working for me. It isn't changing anything. Just saying that this whole thing is just higher low. Okay, so from our V in November 21st to December 17 was just our higher low. Which also is doing that from our December 17 to January 2nd. This was our A. And from Friday, January 2nd till yesterday and most likely today is just our B. Just to say that from the ending of our higher low to our A, this was a perfect 0.5. And what we are looking for right now, because Wednesday, January 7, was clearly our B peak. So we're looking for the B pullback. The B pullback is normally a 0.5 pullback from the bottom of A to the peak of B. So if you look at this, this would be our pullback target. Now, because of that, I have only two versions right now. The first version would be the bullish one. In that case, this pullback, because I'm always saying the 0.5 pullback doesn't have to be on the 0.5 fib retracement. It can be a little bit higher, it can be on the trend line, it can be under the trend line. So this could have been enough. Yeah. In that case, we go lower on the 5 minute. In that case, you had your B, which is also a little micro C. Here was your lower high, finished here, came up again. This was your M. You came lower, finished the M, came up again. This was your T. And in that case, here was your 0.5 bounce. And in that case, the B pullback would be finished. In that case, we should today, because this here was already our higher low. This was already our micro higher low. Can look at this. Yeah, this would be already our little micro A with the 0.5 pullback from the V. That means the only thing we would see today, and we have a lot of volatility today. So we have in pre-market a lot of data. We also have some during the day. And then, of course, the Trump tariff news. So enough volatility to do something stupid. But for the bullish case, there is no drop anymore. In that case, we would go up. Yeah? And also, I have to say, my date was today till next week, Friday. So January 9 to January 15, which only, in my opinion, could mean two things. For the bullish version, we get our, because this is B, our C top today. Yeah. Wherever it is. I mean, my price target was 703. That would be 1.89%, which is doable for SPY. But for the bullish version, anything today. In my opinion, anything today, anything over 693 is our top. And we would pull back till next week, Friday. I would imagine that the start of the pullback would be Monday. All in all, if you're doing that, wherever this peak is, so let's say something stupid, we peak today at 703. This C would be just B, big B. Well, and for big B, we would get 0.5 pullback again. Yeah, but we are thinking about it when it happens. The only alternative for this I have is, because if you look at this, we came close to the 0.5, but you could also say this isn't enough for the 0.5. The same thing like here. We came close to the 0.5, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. In that case, go on the 30-minute again. In that case, this whole thing we did yesterday, the peak after market close, was just our M. Yeah. So here was our C, our lower high, M. In that case, we have two versions. We have to go lower than this, come up again. This would be a T. And then we go to the 0.5. Yeah. We could easily do that today. Also here, because I had the number for January 9th to January 15, that would mean in that case, we have to get our pullback, our 0.5 today till market close. And the whole next week, we run to our peak target, which then again could be something price target 1, 703, or price target 2, 760. And also for this, we have a lot of volatility dates next week, full week of everything. So volatility is enough there. I don't see an absolute bearish case of really dropping down. Yeah. So yeah. Also, if I look at VIX, still, we might gap fill today. So if we're really doing this bearish version of SPY, we still have a gap here. So that would mean that VIX again has to go up. Yeah. But I still think this whole thing is just our T. Still. Yeah. I don't see VIX really gapping up, which would be a little market crash. I still think we will get our T. Maybe we already got it for the bullish version. For the bearish version, we would go up. And still, I see next week the knife of VIX, which is a bullish SPY. Okay, I think that was everything for SPY. It will be interesting. For levels, really just saying, everything over, in the safest bet, everything over 692.14, and the alternative is gone. Yeah. If we go under, I mean, okay, that's clear if you drop under this. Yeah. But everything, it would, if you reject this trend line here. So if you're already on the 30-minute, if you see something like this reject, it's pretty clear that we will go to the 0.5 today. Yeah. But let's say for levels, everything under 688, we will do the 0.5. Yeah. Okay, so much for this. Let's look at DJT first. Just for a little update. All in all, this is one fractal. I'm really confident that we finished the first fractal with November 21 or 21st this year. We made a little higher low, micro higher low, and after that even a micro higher low, and in the end I showed it on FFAI too. You did higher low, micro higher low, and in the end this higher low ended in a BYND. We got merchant news. What are we looking for the future? Well, if you look, you have this small higher low, but you still have this big T, this big M, and this big L. So to compare this little higher low to this, it's not working for me. So we still have to do the macro higher low. How would that look like? Well, it's still a good play for the upside. Just saying. You won't break this trend line, this multi-year trend line, but this would be your higher low. So if you're doing that, we would just do something like this. Yeah, here's your A, your B could be already something around 30-ish, something in here. You will reject here, will make a lower high, your M and your T, and then your V and A. I'm not saying it will take so long, just so you can see it. What we already did was our A. We did our little micro A for our higher low. Is this A already finished? Well, if you look, we already fall under the 0.5 and bounced. So if you're not doing bullshit and sideways action, I still am the opinion the next move is upside for our B. Pretty simple. Okay. Next one. BYND. Also here for the bullish tracking, we already finished the whole first fractal exactly at, where was it? October 16 this year. We already made our, in the bullish tracking, we already finished our higher low with a BYND. Let's look this up here. Here was the higher low, finished with a BYND on Friday, November 21st. And we just added, like DJT, a little micro higher low for the bullish tracking. Just to explain this here. For the bullish tracking, also this micro higher low was finished on, what was that? December 31st. And now we would be already in our A. So in that case, the only thing I could imagine is break up next week. Yeah. Levels wise, everything over 125, and I have no alternative to the downside anymore. Yeah. Then we go up. Next target still for our big A, which is coming after the big high low, is something between $25 and $15. Then breakout retest of this trend line. Let's see how long this takes. If we get the peak, we can look at how long this will take. And after that, you'll be at 43. The alternative to this is this higher low is not finished yet. And this whole thing is higher low. I know it looks from day to day, it looks like it's wrong, but always have an alternative. In that case, this here is just our T. Yeah. That would mean you still have to come down. We still have to fill this gap between 87 and 66 cents. Why? Well, the T is always finished when it's going only 1 cent after where it started. It started here. So we have to at least go 1 cent under this. But if we're coming again in this range, I really think we will get there. That's why. Yeah. And it would also make sense because after this is finished, we wouldn't come down here for a very long time, in my opinion. It makes sense to fill the last gap. But as I said, if we're going over 125, this alternative is dead. If we're rejecting here, and let's say if we go under 89 cents again, we will get fill, in my opinion. Let's see, especially what the day-to-day brings us. So, next one, FFAI. So for FFAI, just saying, we ended this whole fractal on April 21st this year. We made a higher low, same as DJT. Macro higher low, we added a micro higher low, same as DJT. And I will show if we finished it or not. When this finished, our next target. So if we're taking the rules 1-to-1, our macro A would be 153. Our macro B would be 5,000. But I say it again, you won't come up here without a reverse split, in my opinion. Yeah, you won't see. I mean, everything can happen. Yeah, but normally what I saw in the last years, no, without a split, a forward split, you won't come up here. So if we're not doing a split, in my opinion, this will be a hard reject line. So you won't go over 153. But I mean, who cares? Okay, if you're doing really this would be a 9,000% run. I think that's enough. Also, what I have to say, I don't think we'll do the typically A, B, C, because that's why I have these yellow cursors here. FFA is always doing a V, a higher low, and run. V, higher low, and run. V, higher low, and run. V, higher low, and run. Yeah. So if it's doing anything of the past, and fractals normally repeat themselves, no. If this is finished, we just run. So let's look if it's finished. So we zoom in on, let's say, the 4 hour. Here we have our higher low, which perfectly ended in a V under A. And since then, we did our small higher low, which also ended in a perfect V under A. So, what are we doing since then? Well, this could be already two things. This could be already our tiny micro A, or just another higher low, micro higher low. The thing is, my time frame is from January 12th to February 19th. So the thing is, normally, if I see a dropping into my first day, that's fucking bullish. That's really fucking bullish. That would mean on Monday, you could see already the start of the run. Yeah. And February 18 would be already the pullback of this run. So what could happen today? What I want to see today? I'm not really expecting much today. I mean, if we're breaking 133, bullish. If we're going down, I'm absolutely okay to drop under 160, 16 cents. This would be then just another little micro higher low, which is ending in a V&A, because this is here. The only thing I don't want to see is breaking under $1. Yeah. Even then you could say, because this is higher, this was your C, this was your B. And in that case, no, that isn't working. No, that isn't working because we are here lower. No. So in that case, I don't want to see us falling under $1. Pretty easy, that's that. But I'm still absolutely bullish on that thing. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we will get. Okay. Next one. High-growth mining. Okay. For transparency again, because I am not hiding my mistakes, I thought that this here was our peak, so our A peak, and we would already go down. Well, was wrong, yeah, clearly, because we made a new high. So I said I'm still tracking this as this here. Yeah, no, only for this we would just have been. This was my low, my old peak, and we would have done this right now. I also said there's a possibility that we are just here, made this pullback, would be now, let's zoom in. We would be right now in here, this little drop. That would mean we still need to have a higher, one last higher high. Yeah. So I already said in the last video, the only way to be sure is we have to make a confirmed lower high. That means if you go down here, come up again, and not going higher, this would be our lower high. Yeah, same thing as it would have been here. This would have been our peak. We came down, come up again. And if we not have made a new high here, but we rejected here, that would have been our lower high. That's the only way to confirm this. So just wait for the confirmed lower high. After that, it's confirmed lower high, and we would go down to where? Well, if this is our big A, well, the only thing we have to do is we put that here, 0.5. Then right now, if this was our peak, our pullback target is $7.30. And after that, we still go up 90 for B. And then the only question is, are we breaking all-time highs? And again, careful, because if you look here, you have your peak, you drop massively down, you came up again. And if you see this, this would be a lower peak. That's what I'm talking about. And after that, you knife. Yeah. Still, I'm tracking this. I'm not absolutely not worried that we just knifed the all-time highs. I mean, there's a possibility, but I'm still tracking it. We still need the A pullback. Okay. Next one, GNS. Also here, I have two versions, the bullish and the bearish one. In both versions, if you're not delisting, the Fractal, the first one, is finished mid-April 4th of, what was it, 2025. And here starts the two versions. The bullish version would be, here's your V, here's your higher low. You already broke out of the trend line and made your A, and you're in the A pullback. The A pullback for the bullish version was finished with November 21st this year. We are just adding a micro higher low to this. In that case, your T would be here. This higher low would be finished with this. We did, maybe we are adding a little micro higher low still to this. That would mean, yeah, it's quite shitty, but you would, let's look at the lower time frames. That would mean, yeah, here would be a V&A, and then you go. Yeah. I will show why this is shitty. But if that's that, our next target is 7 for B, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs or not? So, what is the problem I have with this? It's kind of similar like FFAI, where normally you have in GNS, you're doing your V, you're doing your higher low, and then you run. Same here, V, higher low, 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 run. Okay, that same as FFE. Normally, GNS isn't moving slow. This would be so. This would be the first time you're doing a V, a higher low, running to A, and then doing pullback to run to B. I mean, could be, yeah. Just saying, because we don't know what happens in front of this C, yeah, because we don't see that. So okay, it could be, yeah, it could be that this time we are doing the slow move. Okay, fine. If not, and we are repeating every last chat test, then this can't be A. In that case, this whole thing is higher low. And in that case, where's this higher low ending? Well, here is your A. Just the A of this. Yeah. That means you still have to come lower than 30 cents, doing a little micro higher low, and then you go. Yeah. I also said in the last videos, what I wanted to see was that we break this trend, which we kind of did, but I also said I want to go over 71 cents. Problem is, we went up and rejected. And since then, we're going sideways. So, okay, there's still a chance we break it. Fine. But I tell you, if we now breaking lower, which is also shit because I showed this could be just a little micro higher low. But I tell you, if we break 55 cents, then this was just T. Yeah. And this whole thing is bigger, just T. Yeah. And this is just the T of this bigger T. That means we have to go lower than this. And if we do that, I tell you, we will go down and we will do this V&A. Yeah. When? For bullish and bearish version, well, I expecting February 12th, we are either down here to finish the higher low and go up, or February 12th is the peak of B, or already the peak of whatever C we get. Yeah. In that case, February 12th, yeah, February 12th would be already the start of the pullback. Let's see. Let's see. I'm really not sold on GNS right now. I have to see more price action. I would say for chances, as long as we're holding these levels, and especially if we go up, I'm bullish. If we're breaking levels to the downside, I'm bearish. Okay, yeah. But I want to see a decision here. Pretty easy. Okay, next one, NIO. Just for the little overview, we are ready for both bullish and bearish version. We are in our big macro C run. We already did A and B. For the closer look, I think it's right, clear now. Yeah. For the closer look, I said the bullish alternative would have been if we break to the upside here. But I always said that's for me absolutely unlikely. Yeah. For the overview, we had our all-time low, our V, on April 2025. We did our higher low here, yeah, under the trend line. We broke out, made our A and A pullback. And well, I said you have for the bullish alternative the chance to break out here. Everything over 626 would have been bullish and would have killed the bearish version. So, well, this was clearly our T as I showed. We came lower, we broke the last low. So the thing is, also for NIO, I had my timeline from January 12 to January 22. So there are two ways for me, because technically this T is finished with yesterday because we made a lower low. Okay, finished. The only problem I have right now is A normally is pulling back to a 0.5. Our 0.5 is here. Yeah. I will show why I wanted not a 0.5 and why I wanted a V under A. Yeah, because I will show it right now. So I want a V under A on this, since I'm showing this because we did the same thing in 2020. We did a V, a high, low, a head and shoulders, and we dropped V under A. And then a little high, low, and then we started to run. Yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to see a V under A here. Okay, but because my time frame is January 12 to January 21, our V under A is at 438. If we not suddenly drop 8% today, technically this could be finished. Or Monday, January 12th, is just the last, is the point of the drop. In that case, January 22nd is your V under A. Then you're doing a high low, and then you go. Yeah. If not, and you see suddenly upside from Monday on, and you're breaking this level here, this version is dead, and we are finished with the A pullback. Just saying. For levels, what happens next? Well, our next target is B with 16.5 pullback, and then the only question is, or it's not a question, because this is C, we have to break $66. So from here to here, this is our price target for our next C. And to say this also, when this move here is finished, we might do a higher low, a little micro higher low, but otherwise they are not really pullbacks. Just saying, this is just a straight run. Oh. It's starting to get interesting because this pullback took so long, but right now it's starting to get interesting. Okay, next one is Above and Beyond. So, first of all, here is our tracking. For the bullish version, we finished this fractal with April 4th this year. We added a higher low. Here we added a higher low. Higher low was finished on December 31, and we broke out. So This could be already our A. Yeah? So there is a possibility that we need a 0.5 pullback. Yeah? So in that case, we would come to $6.10. Yeah? Or we are just finished. Yeah? Next target is our A, which is somewhere in this space here, $27, $22. Our B, somewhere in this space here, 60 to 36. And then the only question is, are you breaking C or not? And if you look back to what we're comparing it to, in that case, we would be here. So this would be our future. With this breakout, it looks fantastic. So only alternative to this is that this is not our higher low. This is our T. And in that case, this right now has to be our T. Yeah? And we would have to make new all-time lows. So how can we confirm this? Well, absolute confirmation would be going over 971. For me, everything over 859 is already extremely bullish. On the same time, of course, if we fall under 541 again, we will do new all-time lows. Yeah. But it looks absolutely fantastic. Okay. One last update to FCEL, because I think it's already a few days ago I showed it last time. It's a slow mover, but it's a perfect tracking. So for FCEL, we finished our first fractal on April 21st. Also here, perfect example for, we did the higher low. In the moment we did V under A. We broke out. We made our A. We made our A pullback. Let's zoom in here. We made our A pullback. Retested the trend line. And we broke out again. In my opinion, what we did since then, this is just a little higher low of this. Especially, and it's already finished with a V under A here. We bounced on dilution news. And since then, we're doing sideways shit. Okay, there's 6% up, 6% down, but all in all is sideways shit. I was comparing this to this move here. This move. And our next target still stays for $165 to $100 for B. So what I'm comparing this to, in my opinion, we would be right now, not 50 minutes. We would be right now here in the range of December 16, 2019 to December 19, 2019. Yeah, you see this? You made your higher low here, your V, your higher low, you broke out of the trend line, you made your A, you made your A pullback, you bounced, you got your pullback. This time it was a lower pullback, but still okay. And then you're doing this sideways shit here. And I think we're doing this right now. If we get in the next days, weeks, a gap up, that's confirmation that we will do this. Just saying. Still, it looks absolutely perfect right now. And I know I try to show an alternative every day, on every ticker. I just don't have one right now. Really, I just don't have one right now. Let's see. Just no update, but just a little comment on AMC. We made a new low yesterday. Yeah. So this wasn't our V. Yeah. So my next target, because we broke my trend line right now, my next target is still here. Yeah, something in this range. Maybe this was our target today. Yeah. So I could imagine we making our V today, wherever it is. But to say that, only my opinion, for me, it's 100, and I'm not saying that often, but for me, it's 100% sure we are not squeezing next week. Just saying, we won't. Because so many people were still falling for other predictors who are saying January 16 contracts are safe. Yeah, we are not squeezing next week. Yeah, as I'm always saying, after the V, you need to do a higher low. And for my tracking, in my case, okay, thing is, if we're doing a higher low, a V today, a bottom today, we will at 28 days. That means the next chance for a squeeze would be February 6th. Do with that what you want. And for GME, we didn't broke here. It's January 9 because of the kitty tweet and all this bullshit. We should see something today. We maybe see something today, but normally you should see this in pre-market. I still think we will see next week, or maybe already today after hours, this knife. Yeah, just saying. And also, when I'm absolutely convinced that AMC won't squeeze next week, GME of course won't do it too. But I will make a bigger GME and AMC and meme stock video at the weekend again. Let's see how the day is ending. Yeah. Okay, as always, if you liked it, you can leave a like. I will put the explanation video here, playlist here, and if you want to see more, abo button is here. Let's see if you're getting an interesting day.